Welcome to the Wrexham Coffee Matchup. I'm Dave.
And I'm Courtney. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to catch up on the latest news from Wrexham. From matchups to transfers, on and off the pitch, we'll share our takes on it all.
So grab a coffee and join us.
Dave, it has truly been a while.
It has been a while, but unlike you said last time, we are back.
We are back.
Last time was not our last episode, so we are back.
Not at all.
And a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks that we can kind of catch up on. And our plan will be to kind of get together periodically throughout the summer and kind of talk about the news as it happens, give our thoughts. But since we last filmed just hours after the final match of the season and hadn't had time to sort of process the season. So I thought we would come back and just kind of share a little more in-depth of thoughts. And I have a little bit of news updates and just a few things that we can touch on this week, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah.
Okay, let's jump in.
So right after we filmed, and I kind of want to get your take on some of these things. So the day after we filmed, they had the end of the season awards, which include the combination of the awards.
This was just for the club, right?
Just for the club. And it's the ones that are voted for by the players and by the fans. Right. So remember, we put in our votes for the player of the season and I think the goal of the season. And then there's also a vote for the young player of the season. And
I do recall a goal of the season that got my vote.
Which we'll talk about. So the young player of the season and the player's player of the season, which is voted on by the other players, ended up going to Callum Doyle, which I think was very well deserved. I had actually considered him for my player of the season just because he really came sort of like under the radar at the beginning of the season, but then became more and more and more important as the season went on, and has just really demonstrated that what a great investment he is and what a good guy he seems to be. Yeah. And I can't believe that he's only like 20 years old or 21 years old. It's crazy that he's that young. But
okay, so like I have learned that one of the worst spirals you can go down in the world of professional sports is how old is this person? Because no matter how old they are, it will make you feel even older, because if they're old and they're 30, you think, oh God, 30 is old. So
it's when I learned about these players.
It never ends well.
I learned about these players, especially some of the new players whose parents, their fathers were professional football players as well. And I always want to go and look them up and kind of learn about them as well, because we weren't following over the years. And some of them, like I believe Josh Windass's father is probably the same age, if not a little younger than me. Yeah. and so like when you get into those moments, you're like, wait, I will follow your avoiding of the spiral.
You can't because it will happen.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. So the goal of the season, which you're a little pointing at your Ollie Rathbone, Have My Children sweatshirt. That is the goal against QPR that won the goal of the season. I well deserved. And just, that was kind of that point when we were on that wave of transformation, which I kind of want to come back to a little bit later. Where at that point, winning was becoming something that we could count on and could be used to and enjoy and not worry so much about our season. We knew we weren't going to be relegated anymore at that point. But it just, and then Ollie Rathbone being back because he was out for so much of the season. I mean, he only came back onto the team. First appearance was in mid-December from his injury in August. And so the fact that he came out with such force, which we've talked about a lot, it was well-deserved. Yeah. I just wish that the site that solicited the votes didn't include YouTube clips of the actual goals. Because did not the one I saw. And so I didn't remember which goal was which. And so I didn't remember this as the Have My Children goal, which spawned a whole cottage industry of sweatshirts and t-shirts and, and Ryan Reynolds, doing everything for him. So it's fun to see that was the winner this year.
Yeah.
And then the top goal scorer and the player of the season both went to Josh Windass.
No surprise there.
Josh Windass with his 17 goals, unless you look on certain websites that still say 16 because they're contesting one of those goals, but still heads and shoulders above the rest of the team, and just
Are they contesting the one that he said, "Hey, that was me," and not
No.
Thomason?
So the team has actually formally petitioned for it to be assigned to Windass.
That particular one.
That particular goal, and so it's not in.
But
his
I mean,
tallies.
is that the one? Is this the maybe 17?
Yeah, the maybe 17 is that goal right there.
Got it.
But I love the fact that because this was a fan vote, that we were not alone in our growing love of Josh Windass throughout the season. I think we never did not have love for him from the very first match. And actually rewatching the documentary, which we'll talk about in a minute, it reminded me how quickly he made an impact on our team from that very first match, which was just great to see. And so there's a lot to look forward to as we go into the new season.
Definitely.
Yeah. So as we mentioned, so we just missed the playoffs by like so much.
A
breath. Hull went on to defeat Millwall. And so they earned their spot at Wembley. And then Southampton defeated Middlesbrough. And so Southampton.
I cannot wait for this. Okay.
Also scheduled in the final. And I say scheduled in the final for now, because it came to light even, I think it was right before or right after the first of the 2-game playoff series.
I also just want to say, I know nothing about this. I heard a little rumor of it, and then I said, actually, I'm going to let you tell me all about it. So I am coming into this with so much anticipation because I don't know anything.
So there's an EFL rule that it is illegal to observe the training activities of your opponents for a 72-hour window prior to a match.
Any match.
Any match between you and them. So your match with that team. So you can't observe training. So people go to games, they watch the plays, they do all that stuff, right? That's kind of standard practice. We know Parky goes to other matches to get an idea of who they're playing against. They watch videos, all that stuff. So before the first leg of the semifinals, when Middlesbrough was training at home, their training ground butts up against a golf course that is a hotel resort. And on the edge of the golf course, behind the chain fence, behind a tree, there was spotted a member of the Southampton staff taking video of the training session. And so I shared with you a picture.
You've just sent this picture to me. And I would say not behind a tree. Next to a tree.
Next to a tree. To me, the first thought when I saw this picture, and I'll have producer Eric put it up on the screen, it kind of came through. It was in an Athletic article. It's been distributed everywhere. It looks like a scene from The Simpsons, where the school idiot is spying and thinks he's hidden.
I mean, I think the only way for it to be worse would be like you're wearing, the name of your team emblazoned across, maybe waving the flag, right? Like, hello.
Right. So this has been labeled Spygate. It's been pretty much the talk of everything. This came out before the second semifinal match.
Okay, I have some questions.
Yes, please.
Who discovered that this was happening?
I believe it was people from the Middlesbrough training camp.
Has this person been interviewed? And what did the video look like? And how many were there?
I don't know.
I'll try to stop with just those questions.
Well, no, it was just this guy. He was on his own. So they have tracked down, they know his name. They know he works for the team in the backroom capacity. There's credit card receipts that shows that he was at the hotel during this time. And there's hints or allegations that they might have done this at other teams prior to this match. Now, this season. Now, remember, in December,
Deflategate.
In December, Southampton was not in the top half of the table.
No.
They went on a 19-match streak where they did not lose a match for 19 matches. So they either won or draw 19 matches in a row to get them up into the playoff positions. And remember, we thought they might even have made it all the way to automatic promotion if they kept playing the way they played. And so the question is, one, was this a member of the staff acting on their own and not with the
That was my next
authorization
question.
of the team?
Or at the request of.
At the request of the team. And had they done this to other people? And so there's a hearing that they've gathered evidence, and there's a hearing tomorrow, which is the 19th of May. Now, the final is scheduled for Saturday, the 23rd. They have started selling tickets. They said they're going ahead with the contingency that might change, is what they said. Now, the what might change is, would it be the team playing? Because Middlesbrough's asking for Southampton to be excluded from the finals and then to take their place. So if they were
obviously
if they were
going
to
to ask for that,
so they're still in training.
Oh my
on
gosh.
the contingency that they might still.
Okay, so I imagine that this person's phone has been confiscated. Although
I believe phone records, credit card records,
a smart person that like actually hides behind a tree might have deleted such videos. That's actually not nice. I do not want to judge someone's level of smartness based on a photo. But
a savvy person, we'll put it that way.
I'm just like, if it had happened before, was it the same person? Do other videos exist? Is there any link between, a message of, oh, you're going to go to the golf course, eh? I don't know why I was Canadian in that question, but.
And apparently after the second semifinal match, which Southampton did win, they won pretty significantly in that match. They asked the coach, the manager, about the investigation. And
reporters did?
Reporters during the post-match interview. And he promptly ended the interview and walked out. Refused to talk about it. Yeah.
We'll be having none of that. Thank you very much.
Having none of that. So the team is saying that they've cooperated and they look forward to the results. I think their argument.
I mean, you can't say anything else.
I think the argument was this
really
guy was acting on his own. They floated whether it's. If they didn't get disqualified from the finals, then potentially it could be a points fine or a $1 fine. Interestingly, a points fine if they won the finals and get promoted to the Premier League, the points fine may not take effect until they would return to the EFL because the Premier League is separate from the EFL.
Right. Okay.
So
oh my gosh.
And then the question I'm just dying to know, did they do this to other teams? Because remember that match, think about our match with them, we were stunned at how they came at us. Because the argument is, if you watch the training, say on a Thursday for a Saturday match, they know the lineups. Mm-hmm. They know. And remember, we didn't field our normal lineup. We kind of shifted things around for Southampton. And if they knew that, maybe they came in and scored 5 goals off of us because they knew exactly what to do. Now, that's big conspiracy theory, I admit. We could put little trailers.
There's quite a bit of speculation there.
It's a lot of speculation.
But it makes you wonder.
Maybe we just had a really bad day. Maybe we did, but yeah.
Maybe we don't have any really big trees that are close to the training field.
Yeah, and a lot of these training fields they're not like NFL fields in the US.
We've actually never seen the training grounds.
No, we have not. But
you and I.
I think
don't
it's
mean
relatively.
We as fans.
I think it's relatively open as well too. It's just I think it's
just you think about the stadium and it's it's closed basically.
Right,
pretty
but the
much. There's fences but you're not. Yeah.
So we will update next time we talk about.
Okay, and now as soon as we finish this and tomorrow, I'm going to be reading as much as I can because I am fascinated.
I knew you would be, and it's funny because you see on social media like the Southampton supporters just saying, "Hey, he's just a college intern. He doesn't even work for the team. And they're like, but he was in the training ground after the training."
But also, honestly, like look, if I were a team and I wanted to spy on another team, I'm not going to get the
Send the little
manager
guy.
or the
Send the little
assistant
guy. Yeah.
manager to go. I'm going to get somebody that maybe people don't know that they're
Right.
associated. Maybe people just think I'm going to go for a game of golf, you know?
Maybe they do. Maybe they
Clearly
do.
that would be the person that you would ask to do that. And because I mean, I don't know about internships in the UK, but certainly if it were in the US, an intern would be the most eager person to do whatever it is.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. No questions asked. No questions asked. So,
Okay.
so we will.
Sorry,
To be continued.
I have so much
to
that
be
I
continued.
can say and ask about this, but I'll pause for now so that we can talk about other things.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're as excited by this as I am. And not excited because I'm not happy it happened, but I'm just so fascinated
but this is
with this.
yeah.
And the fact that, I mean, we both kind of hinted at this last time we talked. We're following the team and the sport in general in such a different way from how we used to follow. Even though we've been fans for 5 years, we weren't following with this level of attention and detail since we started the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it just makes our experience even more interesting by seeing these other pieces that come along with it. Yeah.
That's true. But like this kind of drama, how can you not follow?
I know. And you give it a catchy name like Spygate. I mean, you know, we're all over it. So
you have no choice.
There will be a documentary on YouTube in 10 years about this whole thing, I'm sure. Yeah.
Or next year.
or next year. So I just wanted to, so season's over.
Right.
So I just wanted to do a little stats quiz-ish with you.
Ooh. All right. I'm ready to get them all wrong.
And I would have gotten a lot of these wrong as well too. So I'll put that up front. So we played 53 matches this season, which is
including
the non-league matches, the EFL Cup and the FA Cup matches. So 53 matches. So that's 7 cup matches and 46 regular matches.
Wow.
Top 3 who made the most appearances on the field.
Oh, okay. Max.
Okay.
You're not going to answer me as I go. I have to get all 3. I have to give a list first.
Give me 3 names and
okay.
Well,
evil.
okay.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll get my list. Okay. I think Max. I think I would have said Arthur, but Tyr, maybe not. I was gonna say maybe Callum Doyle. Let me give those 3, and you tell me that I only got one of them right.
Okay, so tied for second most appearances across all competitions at 46. We have George Dobson and Josh Windass.
I almost said George Dobson, but then like the wrist break, but then he came right back. Okay.
And
Josh
the most
Windass.
The most appearances. This isn't the most minutes. The most appearances,
right?
With 47. Drum roll. Sam Smith.
I got 0 correct.
You guys are, but I was shocked.
Wow, he has the largest number of appearances.
And I had kind of forgotten that. I think he was named in the squad every single one of the 53 matches, because he never had an injury this season. And he started off by playing a minute here, 2 minutes here.
Yeah.
And then we got into that window in December when Kiefer got injured, and then we needed to have some shakeups. And Sam took over, and then he ended up ending the season. And there were times when Kiefer didn't even come on at the end of the season. So I mean, it's just interesting that someone who we might have dismissed at the beginning of the season with all these new signings ended up being the player who was on the field the most number of times. At least.
Yeah. We had said ooh, what's going to happen with Sam Smith and Jay Rodriguez? And we've heard the latest news about Jay Rodriguez, that he was released from the team, and then Sam Smith,
not a surprise. Which is not a surprise.
The most
at all.
appearances.
Yeah. And so I think if anyone's questioning, like, does Sam Smith have a longevity with this team after this season? I would say absolutely.
Especially how the season finished.
Because of the way it's just sort of the way that his trajectory went, is that he just kept showing up.
And he had the opportunity as well.
And
you
he
know,
took the
would we be
opportunity when
having
it
a
came.
different
Yeah.
conversation if Kiefer Moore hadn't gotten injured? Maybe this would be a different
Absolutely.
conversation.
Yeah.
But I think the world of sport is a lot of what if, because you have injuries, because you have things that
Oh,
are
absolutely.
outside of your control. So
Right. Okay. So tied closely to this is so goals scored. So we already know.
okay,
We know number one because we talked about that. So Josh Windass.
exactly, Josh Windass.
So
I would think. I think Kiefer Moore got double digits.
yeah. So he had 13 goals. Across
Okay.
all competitions.
Is he second?
He's in second. He's in second.
Okay.
And then I have third, which is a tie, and fourth.
So I have 3 more names I've got to come up with.
Well, you don't have to come up with all 3. Just
Well, I won't come up with any. So
oh, you know one of them. One of them is easy. I mean, we were just talking about him.
I mean, I was gonna say maybe. I mean, did Sam Smith score? How many did he score?
He scored 9.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is he the tied or is he fourth?
So he's tied for third with Nathan Broadhead, who also scored 9. Okay. Now it's interesting because like I felt,
and I wouldn't have.
I don't think we would have put him up there because we didn't see him as much as we expected to see him on the field. And remember, there was this whole period. He did. I don't have my chart in front of me. He started quite a number of times, actually. And remember, we were constantly
I guess it was kind of like mid.
We were kind of having the conversation of why aren't you starting both Broadhead and Windass at the same time?
Yeah, that's true.
Supporting. But I think he just was kind of the quietly there.
Or Broadhead and Moore.
Yeah, and so it's interesting to see that he got that many, and I'd have to go back to see sort of how it fell out. But yeah, I think we expected him to be much more primary at the beginning of the season when they signed that big contract to get him in. But he also was away for the international call-ups a couple times, and so it's interesting to see. But I'm curious to see sort of how we shift next season, because I think we got to a point at the end of the season where they're realizing that a Windass and Broadhead and like either Ollie or Lewis O'Brien combination is a really important one for our team. So I'd be curious to see that.
You've got to have people that are great at scoring goals to score goals and win matches. Hold on.
That's not your only way to win matches, but yeah. But in those positions, I mean, in that position,
to win, you do need to have
we
goals.
do need to score goals. We need to score
They
goals.
don't need to be by those positions. We've had plenty of goals scored by defenders and midfielders this season, but
yeah. So I did want to give a shout out.
I say that in jest.
I do want to give a shout out to our 4th place though. So Ollie Rathbone. So if you remember, he was tied for the most goals last season in League One. Elliot Lee ended up getting the award because Elliot Lee's goals were all in the league versus I think Ollie Rathbone had one Ollie Rathbone had one non-league goal that, so he felt like he was robbed from that, apparently, according to Elliot Lee in the Bet This Is Wrexham podcast. But the interesting thing about Ollie Rathbone got 8 goals again this season. But that's notable more for the fact that he did not play before December 13th.
He had half
and
of a
so
season.
He played half a season, but he appeared on the field in every match from the day he was first on the pitch. And he's probably the only one, I have to go back and check, who actually played every one of those matches. So, I mean, his impact, and we've talked about this, just came so quickly. And his energy came back, and like it sort of reminded us what we loved about him and still love about him. And so to see it sort of shifting, and then we can have the endless debate as to whether he comes on at the beginning or the end. And I'm sure that will
it's not endless
next year. It's
not endless. I think that everyone is on my side. We should put a poll.
Yes. So we talked a little bit about, so they did put out the released player list this week, which had no surprises on it. What surprised me was more just the things that aren't on the list that we will kind of look for in the coming weeks as the transfer window starts to open. But fully expected that J-Rod would not get a new contract beyond this year. Yeah. I was actually surprised. I mean, he injured his ankle last summer. and had a surgery, I believe, or he was definitely injured. I was surprised when he was put back into the squad in January,
I think,
given
yeah,
all the
we both
changes we
were.
had made. And I think he made 6 or 7 appearances,
Yeah.
just a few minutes here and there. And
Yeah.
really, I think he fought his way back, and he showed that, he had an incredible career before he came to Wrexham. I think
Yeah.
that his time at Wrexham will just be more of a footnote. But he seems like a good guy who's very positive and things. So, and I think he's pretty much at the end of his career anyways. I think he's like 35 or 36 years old as we talk
Oh,
about the age.
old man.
Old man. And then Issa Kabore, so his loan is ended.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
this being in this announcement is actually not a surprise. So, and it doesn't actually mean anything. So at the
Right.
end of the 1-year loans, you go back to your home club.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that the club cannot then have conversations about either another loan or a contract. And so I
Right.
think the question for him is more, is he what we need in that position? And I think that's a huge
Which
question mark.
translates as well to, has he done enough?
Has he done
Right?
enough?
Like
And
it's a
has he
similar question.
and has he done enough consistently? Because I think that
Yeah.
consistently is the word for him. Where, remember, at the beginning of the season, he came on fire. You wrote a
But then
song
he was
about him,
injured.
and then he was injured, and then he came back, and it was kind of hit or miss in the middle of the season. And then those last couple of matches, he's been back on fire again. And so is it enough, or do we need to look for someone more consistently? I mean, we barely ever saw him and Cacace on the field at the same time doing the 2 wing back
we
positions
also
because of
didn't often
Cacace's.
see Cacace on
Yeah.
on the field in general. Yeah.
And so it's like, we don't know how that would have worked. Instead we had George Thomason playing on the wing back, who did a wonderful job,
Who
even
had
though
a
that's
fantastic season.
fantastic season when that's not his position. He is
Yeah.
a center fielder. And we had Maddie James, we had Ryan Longman still filling in for when Kabore wasn't playing, and he's done very well as well too. And I think there's just the question of like, I think that's viewed as one of the weaker positions that we need to strengthen next season to kind of make that push to get not just to the playoffs, because I think playoffs is easily in reach. It's just, but if we want to aim for even the automatics.
Dave,
What?
You're not supposed to say those things out loud.
Well, we're just going for it.
It's going to be a cinch,
Yeah.
And there's 8 teams. It goes down to 8th position next year. So
it's not a cinch. Nothing's a cinch, especially
we've
since
already gotten to 7th. Come on.
We're still waiting to hear who's coming down from the Premier League.
Exactly.
This year. So, I mean, it's potential that either
and it
the Spurs,
could be Nottingham Forest.
No, I think they're safe now. I think they're safe.
Are they?
Today.
They lost.
But I looked at the points.
But other
this
teams did
morning.
as well. Okay.
Rats. Tottenham and West Ham are sort of neck and neck for that 3rd position. And either one of those would be just a huge thing to have come into the championship.
Yeah.
The big old 60,000 seat stadiums in London. I mean, that would be crazy and fun to go to.
Totally fine.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But as part of this whole
and
release,
pack the away section.
yes, pack it. We'll all fly in from the U.S. and Switzerland and everywhere else around the world to watch that one. Yeah,
Done.
Yes. But in terms of the returning from loan, so we saw at least 4 players that we had loaned out that are now back with the team. None of whom I think we can expect to see again. So Paul Mullen back from he had 2 loan spells, neither one of which did particularly great. I think he's still just, his injury, his back surgery really threw him off and didn't really come back from that. So hopefully he'll get it out. Either they'll release him or there'll be another loan spell out. Elliot Lee, who I think, had he not had his knee surgery, the conversation about Elliot Lee could have potentially been very different. I mean, he played at the beginning of the season and he could have made his way, I think, into the squad. Remember, at the beginning of the season, they were questioning George Dobson because he had never played at the championship level. Yeah. And he has been one of the most consistent players that we have had all season long.
Yeah.
So had Elliot not been injured, had not had his surgery, not been away during all the changes, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
I think it was made clear from him that he knew he had to go, and he did well at Doncaster. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a chance for him there next season
Or somewhere else.
Yeah. And then Connor Cody and Ryan Hardy, who are two of our early signings, which it's interesting watching the documentary as you get into it, because we're learning about these people again. And at that point, they don't know. Like, we don't know, they don't know, people watching, that like these two big signings early on wouldn't be here come January.
Yeah.
But Connor Cody has done amazingly well at Charlton. It's become very popular. He actually made it up to, like, he even got the captain's armband in the final match of the season. So he did really well. And I saw an interview with him.
Didn't he also play like with a concussion or something?
Oh,
there was some like head injury, and then
So he got kicked in the head at one game where they wrapped his head to stop the bleeding.
That's the picture I saw.
And he continued to play. And
he kept playing. Yeah. Yeah.
Then there was a match later where he actually was kicked in the head again, and he was carted off the field to the hospital and had a concussion. And so he was out for 2 matches because of that. And then he still came back. But he also, they put him in a different position than what was his normal position. So he was not playing as a defender. He was more of a midfielder for Charlton, and really gelled with the squad. And he's indicated that he's open and hoping to have a conversation about staying with them. And so if that works out, I think that would be great. And another guy we really like that we can watch play, that just, I think that's great. And then Ryan Hardy, we just saw that it just didn't fit as our team grew, and we talked about that. So I'd be curious to know who else, if there's any other releases that happen, if there's other contract deals, other loans that happen. We can kind of follow that throughout the summer and see how it goes.
There will be news.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, so we've talked a lot about things, like if you had to look back at the season as a whole, now that you had a little space and a little time, like what would you say is sort of your reflections and your thoughts of where we went and where we ended up?
I think we started the season with a lot of apprehension, right? We had basically half of a new squad. We were in this new division that we knew was going to be difficult. We didn't start glitteringly well. And I think we kind of, not that we were questioning, but it was just, man, we're really feeling the intensity. We're really feeling the difficulty of this new league. And then things kind of started to change pace at the end of the year, right? Kind of end of December. And I feel like when you and I were there in February, this 5-3 victory over Ipswich Town, I feel like that was really our crowning glory of the season. I think that and QPR for me were the 2 best matches that we played. I think that gave us so much momentum. I think that was when these kind of talks of playoff hopes and dreams, like it was on the upswing. And I think Chelsea is like, I think something happened there, and we played so phenomenally well for such a long and brutal time. And it was just like something after that. We just weren't able to get that spark back, that for whatever it was, we still, we were still hanging on. We were still trying to like cling in there. But yeah, I feel like didn't start great, had this like wave that we rode high through Ipswich Town, and then Chelsea kind of.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And it's interesting because in that, between the QPR and the Ipswich is, I believe, when the Nottingham Forest match was.
I think so too.
I think it was right in that window, because I think when I look at it and kind of rewatching the documentary is kind of helping me relive and reframe the timeline for everything, because I'm going back and looking at things from a different perspective. We spent the first half of the season up through December just kind of, and I'd say Swansea was sort of the end of the December frame that I'm looking at, where
Yeah.
we were doing okay. We were doing okay. We were competing. We were
Hmm.
making it. We were getting ties. We weren't losing badly. We were kind of coming together as a team. We're seeing where it could go. The Swansea match kind of knocked our confidence a bit, right? But then we
Hmm.
came back at Christmas, and from Christmas all the way to Chelsea, it was like on fire. Not that we
We
won
felt
every match.
unstoppable.
We felt unstoppable. And that's where we
No.
went. We went from lower middle of the table, safe from relegation. We weren't in the top 12 in December or January.
Mm-mm.
And then we kind of found ourselves up until we got into that comfortable sixth place. And we stayed there for week after week
Yeah.
after week. And I think we just assumed I don't know, assumed, but we just felt so comfortable with how well we were playing that we just kept going. And we were like, okay, we're going to end up here. We're going to end up at least here. And so to not make the playoffs, but I think you're right. It's like the Chelsea match, the deflation that came after that, and the way we played for a couple matches after the Chelsea match, it's like the confidence was knocked, sort of the wind had gone from the sails, and it took a while to get it back. And I do feel like we got it back to some extent at moments.
Yeah.
You know, I think even when we talked about our last match of the season, we played well. We played very well in that last match. We just didn't do enough. Or the other teams that weren't even playing us did more, right? And so
just a little bit more.
When it came down to stats, not down to how well we played. But I think it does set us up really well for next season. And, you know, we've got a really good core of players that when we look at the lineups, we think, I'm comfortable with these people starting. I'm comfortable with these people being on the bench. There's still some question marks, right? Like, will we finally get to see Libby Cacace play to his potential like he did in Italy? Hopefully. Or play. What about these new signings that we brought in January? So, I mean, Zach Viner did have some significant time, but then he injured himself and he wasn't playing in his normal defensive position. And we've talked about this a lot. I mean, defense, really, I think the last couple weeks, it came down to our lack of defense is what prevented us from going to the playoffs. It wasn't our lack of attack. It wasn't our lack of strength in the midfield. It was really the defense that kind of let us down. And so getting him back in there, will that help? Shifting things around? I'm not sure, you know. I mean, because we have very good individual players. It's just a matter of how it all works together. And then the goalie issue, which who knows what's going to happen there.
I don't know.
We already talked about that one last week, so we don't need to go into that again. But I think we are set up well for next season. And I'd say the biggest thing that's working to our advantage for next season is at least we don't have to spend every week talking about VAR.
Exactly.
We can save that for another year, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to not having that as we have this year. We have the benefit for the first time in a couple of seasons of having played the majority of the teams that we will face next season.
Right. It's like
we've been going up.
Them. Yeah. So fast.
And you don't have, like, you've not played them again because they didn't also advance, right? I mean, we've gone up. And so I think now, you know, we're in this league that is still a very, very, very good league. We don't have to deal with VAR. And we have the benefit that we've played almost all of these teams before. And so we have that experience. We know what we need. Right. And now we have the summertime to figure out how can we get there, either with the players that we have or bringing in a couple of new ones.
Right. And I think it is a couple. I don't think it's a large
13?
Change. No, I don't think it's 13 at all. I've heard numbers in sort of the 4 to 5 range. But I'm just hoping that this core that we have come to really love, watch play, and I hope that we get to keep that and that no one gets poached away from us. That's another thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'd be like, it's nice. I mean, because I hadn't
really thought about that.
we got so used to the consistency of some of our key players season after season,
Mm-hmm.
even as we made our way up through the leagues. Yes, we brought in new players each season, but we weren't losing players along the way to that extent like we did this
Mm-hmm.
year. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, just I won't. I could mention the name that I've heard. That's a threat, but I don't know if I want. Callum Doyle is so young and so talented that there is worry. Now, it's not real
Yeah.
news, but there's worry that a Premier League team would come after him,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is, I could see him playing in the Premier League easily. I just hope he
Yeah.
doesn't this year, because I still want
You
to.
could do it with Wrexham in a couple years, man.
Yeah, no. Yes, he can. Just like Max can, right?
Yeah.
Max can get to the
Yeah.
Premier League just by sticking with us,
Oh man. Okay, I think that'll be a conversation for another day.
Yes.
My head's spinning too much.
Your head is spinning too much. So just before we go on so the World Cup is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a controversial thing, but for the players themselves to get called up to the World Cup is a huge honor. And so far, Libby Cacace has been called up for New Zealand. And so he will be playing in the squad in New Zealand. So they are actually making their debut in the World Cup against Iran in Los Angeles on June 15th. Now, the choice of matches, probably it's not going to be the greatest of environments, given the political situation going on in the world. And some of the players from Iran did not get issued visas, so they're not able to come. So it'll be an interesting thing, but good for Libby to get to play.
Yeah.
And then their other matches, I believe, are up in Canada.
I hope he actually plays.
Hope he actually plays. I mean, like he did appear for us 12 times, according to my notes. I just don't remember. That must have been much more earlier in the season, and he got injured over and over and over again. And so I'd love to see what he can do and to be able to cheer him on. And then we're waiting to hear. Scotland hasn't announced their call-ups yet. They're doing that. They're doing that tomorrow, the 19th of May. So it's fully expected that Dom Hyam will also get called up. So we will have two players potentially making appearances in the World Cup in U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And I did not know this, that the home team gets paid for every day that their players who are called up are on the World Cup squad. And so,
okay, when you say home team, you mean
like Wrexham,
their club that has their contract.
Club.
Okay.
Yes. So Wrexham will get paid for every appearance that they make in the World Cup match. And the potential, depending on how far they get, up to $250,000 per player.
Wow.
Yes. And so you can see the financial benefit to a club
to
have a player called up. And imagine some of these clubs that get 4 or 5 players called up. I mean, that's incredible windfall. So all those outrageous ticket prices are going to something.
Just thinking of all of these, like all of these situations where these things that would like benefit people go to the richest anyways, right? So like the people that are going to have the most players on an international team, that those are going to be the top level, those are going to be your Premier League teams, right? And they need money like they need a hole in the head, right? Like they get money from being in, if you go to Champions League, all of these things, where you finish, and better TV deals and everything else. But sorry, that's a very different conversation.
One we're happy to have if people are interested. If people are interested, we could study that. But yeah, so we have the World Cup to look forward to. And it's interesting you mentioned the thing you mentioned about so many of the players that are called up to the World Cup are Premier League players. It's interesting because our US tour is right after the completion of the World Cup. It's I think it starts within a week.
Days, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a question, because it's uncertain at this point, how many of the top players from Sunderland, Leeds, or Liverpool will actually miss the matches that we have. Yeah. Because when we played 2 seasons ago, we played Bournemouth and Chelsea in the preseason. And both Bournemouth and Chelsea played a large number of their starters against us, which we weren't expecting. We actually thought it would be
Hmm.
more like a B squad or an under
Yeah.
19. And so they actually did field good teams, and we drew against both of them. So I think this will be, depending on the level of sort of how our squad does over the summer and who misses
Hmm.
those matches for them, it'll be interesting to see how we do in those matches, because we know Parky takes them seriously. And this is a good way to gauge our preparation for the season. And
Yeah.
it'll gauge, and since we showed what we can do against Nottingham Forest and Chelsea, this is just a chance to further
Hmm.
show sort of what this squad can do.
Yeah.
So
And we've got 3 teams from the Premier League that we're going to face next season.
yes, in addition to the ones that had just fallen down this season. So
The year before.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So and then just our last topic. I know we've gone extensive this week. The documentary started last week. Welcome to Wrexham is back.
Oh, yes.
And so we'll only talk about the first episode
Okay.
for the moment. Do you need a moment? Need tissues?
No, it's okay. I used quite a few during the episode.
I was not. So it's funny because, you think about like, oh, it's back for the 5th season. What else can they tell us? What else?
I was just going to say, you think like, I know all the stories.
You know all the stories.
It's just going to be about the matches, but it's not.
I would say that first episode was just a beautiful piece of television, irregardless of the topic, right?
Absolutely.
It was just one of the most well-made, thoughtfully put together stories
of human connection,
which just happens to center around Wrexham. And
yeah,
that's what I love about the show, is that it just keeps showing these different layers. And we've seen some complaints. It's like, okay, they could broaden their scope a little bit, but also the ones that they're choosing to tell, they're telling him with such care. And the Bailey story was just, it probably was the most touching one that I personally felt touched by. And I've cried many times at this show. But just
I think,
go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I just think the way they did it and the extra level that they gave to the story.
Yeah.
They went further, because if you think about it, I mean, he passed away in 2023, right? They could have told this story sooner, but it wouldn't have been the full story, which is, I think, the part I appreciate, is that they have the time now, with 3 more seasons after this one, even, to sort of follow
see what stories emerge. Yeah.
See what emerge, see how they go, when is the right time to tell them. Yeah. So you were going to share.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that is the heart of what brought us to the club and what has kept us engaged and kept us as fans. Yeah, sure, it's the team, and it's following the wins and losses, and it's all of that, but at a more basic level, it is about human connection. It's about these human stories. It's about the stories that we saw through our screens of the people in the town, of the players on the squad, of how it has impacted people's lives. It's the people that we have met when we've gone there that have now touched our lives, that bring us joy. It's all of this, and it's that human element, it's that human connection that has been the most powerful part for at least me becoming a Wrexham fan. And I think I would say that for you as well.
Oh, absolutely. And what struck me is that, like I mentioned at the beginning, so watching this season, having done 37 episodes of the podcast leading up to it, and then rewatching and remembering these key moments from the early matches. So, like, did I remember that we first saw Lewis O'Brien's dance at the Southampton match?
No,
his little...
I didn't.
And I loved seeing it. Did we always think that Josh Windass just is cool and clinical as he makes these goals? Yeah, probably, but it's nice to be remembered about that, and so, like, balancing these stories with just getting to know these people again that we've already come to get to know. I'm really enjoying it, and I look forward to sort of how we're going to develop over the next few weeks, because I mean, the season was scripted in a way that you couldn't write.
Yeah.
And
but also the documentary has a duty, not really, but I can imagine that a part of it is also going to be, you have these 13 new players.
Right.
Well, 14, 15, 16
16
new
now.
players
Yeah.
that need to be introduced, right?
Right. And while saying
so-
goodbye to other people, which each
and bringing in these other stories that
Yeah.
are actually not related to those people, right? Like
Right.
they have a lot that they need to do, just to tell this story. So
Yeah. So as you get in, I won't spoil anything, but as you get to the second episode, I will just say that I might have met my favorite person in all of Wrexham, and that is Trina, the cleaning lady, who has maybe
Okay, I've already seen part of a conversation around this. And so I can't wait.
She has maybe 2 minutes of airtime out of a 42-minute episode, and yet I want her back. I just want her back. So I'll leave it there. And anyone else can go and watch episode 2 of Welcome to Wrexham, now streaming.
And let us know what you think.
And let us know what you think. Yes, because apparently my joy of watching her was not alone. That
Sure.
Our friends from Wrexham who watched also loved her as well. So
Okay, well, I can't wait to meet her.
yes, you will meet her. You will meet her. So I am very excited for what's next, because like you mentioned, we're
We have
going
a
to
lot
catch
coming.
up. But we have a lot coming. We have transfer window, but more importantly, in 1 week, I will be in Switzerland to see you
You will be.
with producer Eric, and I'm going to try to bribe him somehow to get him to join us on the next episode.
Okay. All right.
I think it might be you. I think it might be you who needs to bribe him. Actually, you probably have more sway than I do. But
Okay, that's fine. I'll come up with something. This
even
is
if
important.
it's for like 30 seconds, yeah, we will figure out a way. We
do a montage of your time here.
Mhm.
That becomes the intro to the next episode.
Yes.
Anyways,
Yeah. And until then,
things to look forward to.
Yes, and I did book. I'm going to watch the championship final, should it happen on Saturday the 23rd at the Cosm Dome. So I will let you know how that is. So.
I cannot wait to see what is the result. You said the hearing
Tuesday.
the result will be on Tuesday, or
the
that's
hearing
like
is
when
on
they're gonna
Tuesday.
take-
They expect to announce the results like almost immediately, because there's Saturday is coming.
I know.
People need to.
It's just
they need
right
to get to
there.
London. They need to get to London. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will definitely be on the lookout for that.
Okay. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also email us at wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. All one word. That's wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at wxmcoffeematchup.
From the cop to your coffee cup, that's all for today's Wrexham Coffee Matchup. Keep it brewing, keep it red, and as always, up the town.